Thank you. We're just resuming after a brief break. We're on item 6, adoption of the minutes. We have the minutes of the November 20th and 27th council meeting. The first motion is that the minutes of Middlesex Centre Council meeting held on the 20th of November 2024 be adopted as printed. A mover, please, and a seconder, Councillor Shipley and Councillor Arts. Thank you. All in favor? And the minutes of Middlesex Centre Special Council meeting held on November 27th, 2024 be adopted as printed. Thank you, Councillor Cates moving and Councillor Bruce seconding. All in favor? And that is carried as well. Okay, we have, was it 9 items on the consent agenda? These are listed as typically received as one motion, but if there's something someone would like to comment on or pull out. I'll start with you, Deputy Mayor Brennan.
Just a comment, Madam Mayor, to Eric. Year after year, we see these drinking water reports come in, and every year they're good. So I just wanted to say thank you and you and your staff. The liability for all this stuff lies with council. We're the ones that are ultimately, responsible if something goes south. So I just want to say thank you for keeping everything up to date and keep the good reports coming. Thank you very much.
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you for your support, council, on letting us do our job properly and supporting everything we bring forward. Thanks.
Is there any other item that anyone wants to ask about or anything for Eric? Okay, I don't see anything else. In that case, the motion before us is that items 7.1 through 7.9 listed on the December 4th, 2024 agenda be adopted as recommended. Deputy Mayor Brennan and Councillor Cates, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? No? Okay, good. That's carried. Okay, and now we're moving to staff reports. The first item on the agenda today is a development charge exemption request. Tiffany Farrell, Director of Corporate Services, will provide an overview of that staff report.
Thank you for your debate. So I'm running my report with respect to the development charge exemption request. And this is from PRC with respect to exempting private independent schools such as themselves. As you're going through the report, I have looked at this specifically with respect to the financial implications for the municipality. I think that the school did an excellent job with providing council and the public with the information on why this is a positive thing for the community, and I understand their points, and I've attached all the information that they have provided because I think they explain it best, and I think it's very important when council is looking at this, we're balancing the decision with respect to the financial implications as noted in the report, as well as the positive community aspects that PRC has provided in their presentation, as well as the letters that they have provided to the municipality. Since this time of putting the report through the agenda process, I have heard back from 2 municipalities that do provide this exemption for private schools. So in looking at different development charge studies that bylaws that are available, 2 municipalities do exempt private schools, one being Newmarket and the other being Middlesex. From with respect to their process, they haven't had an application in many years, so they weren't able to provide information that was more current. But they do know that they offer a DC exemption for the development schools themselves. A DC exemption is not offered in supporting general infrastructure for the school, such as residences, hockey arenas, etc. And similar to Middlesex Centre, they also confirmed that they will replace the exempted DC with alternative funding sources. So, like I have noted in that report, and in compliance with our DC exemption bylaw, we will also fund statutory and discretionary exemptions. This is one region, which is the region north, but also has a program for private schools. There's not an exemption, but they do a deferral payment. So similar to what we offer for the rental applications, and this is through provincial legislation, that they can pay 6 installments of interest for this for private schools as well. And that would be as a discretionary deferral. one note that I wanted to make as we're going through the report is when you're looking at the funding of the DC exemption, this would be the same process for every school. So Middlesex Center does pay for the exemptions with respect to statutory and discretionary exemptions. This would be a discretionary exemption, similar to when we talk about agriculture or industrial in the past. However, when we're looking at the boards of education, so if it was a Thames Valley school, that would be a statutory exemption, but we would fund it just the same. At this point, I will open it up to council for any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that report and the summary of all the research that you've done. I'll look to council then. Are there questions? I see Deputy Mayor Brennan. Go ahead, sir.
Questions, Madam Mayor, but I understand that the public schools and Catholic schools, as Tiffany has said, is a statutory exemption, which all the taxpayers across the township are responsible for, as is the normal. A private school is for those people who wish to send their children there. We exempt them, then again, we still have to pay for that. And that again would go on the backs of our taxpayers. And their children don't go to those schools, that private school, because they've chose to use the public system. So the private school is a choice that people make to fund themselves for their own children. So I can't see why or how we could, in all fairness to our taxpayers, exempt this and put it on the backs of all taxpayers to pay for this. So I realize that it's a big cost for the people, but it's their choice to have this private school for their children. So it then becomes, in my opinion, their cost. So having said that, I cannot support this.
Just before we continue, the clerk with one comment. These would be questions on the report first, because we're going to have there's a delegation requested to speak to the item, and after that information is presented, then we can debate. Okay, so I apologize for that. Is there any question for Tiffany with respect to facts, data, numbers, the report? Go ahead, Councillor Case.
Tiffany did say it well, but I just want to say it again. You use the word exemption, but it's still being paid, whether it is private or public. It's still paid by the taxpayer dollars. That was one of the questions that I had, so you've clarified that. Thank you.
So if you yes, Middlesex Center's process. So even though it's called a development charge exemption, based on our development charge exemption policy, we do make it whole. So whenever something is being exempted within development charges, you cannot make that up with other development charges to another developer. It could be a resident with respect to like a smaller structure that they're building, so that the municipality does have to fund that exemption. And that's the stance that Middlesex Center has taken on funding exemption. So yes, statutory, discretionary, we do fund those.
Does anyone else want to ask a question? Facts, points? Okay. In that case, we do have a request to speak. So I'm not sure. Yep. Okay. So I'll give the floor, push my button, and then go ahead and make your presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Mayor, members, council, staff. My name is Will Nowen, board member at PRC. Spoke to you November 6th. Thank you for the opportunity to come again and speak to this matter. After reading the staff report, and thank you for the verbal as well. Just a few comments that we want to make. An amendment to the development charge bylaw would not open the entire DC bylaw up for discussion. you would provide notice for one specific change, and that is the only thing that would be up for discussion. An amendment would not set a precedent, in our opinion. No other land use can claim the unique grounds of our request to be treated the same as other schools. There is no legislation requiring municipalities to fund exemptions through other revenue sources. I understand that's your policy, but if council directed to set aside that policy on this one time off, this would be an unrealized income as opposed to a direct cost to the municipality and other taxpayers. The staff report and again, the verbal stated that this report will concentrate on the financial implications to the municipality. I'm also a municipal employee. I know that staff comments have to be based on policy and technical information. Staff report also goes on to say, however, it is important to consider the positive aspects of PRC's request before making a decision. I don't want to put words into staff's mouth, but what I do see there is an acknowledgement that we do have some reasonable grounds for this request. And also an indication that this type of decision is not something that staff can recommend. This is the type of decision that council has to make. Decisions that are based on fairness and equity, decisions that might not follow policy exactly, that's within council's realm to make those kinds of decisions. Sometimes those decisions are important for building and caring for communities. And that is council's privilege to make decisions on those kinds of basis. Regardless of how this goes, we just want to say that we're very thankful to the municipality and staff for allowing us this opportunity to come forward and all our dealings with the municipality. Staff has been great, very professional, very helpful. It was a great experience for our students to be able to come here and experience a council meeting and see how things apply to real life. Exemption, either full or partial, would help us immensely in terms of getting towards our goal of fundraising and seeing this project happen. Either way, we trust that somehow we'll get there, and we look forward to being before council again and municipality with site plan approvals and permits hopefully in the near future. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Excuse me. So now we can look to council for questions or comments, or go ahead, Councillor Oates.
This is more of a comment. The last few days I've had quite a few of your members call me and we've discussed it, and they've been polite and very courteous, and that doesn't always happen. So I really admire the people that you've had call me. This is going to be one of those days where I'm going to go home and I'm going to feel like crap, because I know the decision I have to make with my head, but my heart has got some real conflict going on now. So thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Cates. Alrighty. So as Hugh said, today is a hard day to sit in this chair, so I'll be okay. I love what you do at your school and your values that you teach, and I appreciate the times that I've been there to see you. And I think that it's a hard time right now with, I just was on the budget committee, and it's tax time and the costs everywhere. And there's been, sitting in the budget committee, there's been a lot of cuts and postponements and things put off. I myself have been really advocating for an updated crosswalk on Canoga Road, and I have approvals, but there's no funds for that. And so there's a lot of people that are making
sacrifices or postponements in all different departments. And it's hard for me. I've thought long and hard about this and made all my crazy little notes here. I just don't feel that I can put this additional burden on the taxpayer, on the tax levy. Tiffany gave her number, 250,765. I just don't feel that we can do that at this time. Is the bottom line of, and as Tiffany said, which was a question we had, if it was a public school and exempt, we would be forced to add this on. And so given the fact that we have a choice, I think that's kind of the choice that is the right choice to make, given the times that we have. Not easy, but I wish you the very best with your project. And thank you for your involvement in the process. Yes, Councilor Burns.
Yeah, just to follow on, but, we all know it's a good school and we support it to some extent. Just echoing what Councilor Art said, I myself have been lobbied by a number of people who have children there or had children there. We had some good discussions. They were kind people. That doesn't always happen in our conversations with constituents. So I thank them for their calls and I want to thank you for your presentation today. And I'll leave it at that.
In that case, I think everyone's waiting. The only thing I can add is, I guess you put it really well. There's the heart and the head part, and there is no question about that. I think the value that you bring to the students and how you serve your community and all the pieces that go into making that an effective and a good environment for kids. And I think how do I put it? The wording, I guess, is the greater good. We can't isolate a decision based on one piece. As is all being said, don't want to repeat everything everyone said, but the budget decisions that have to be made in terms of who's been waiting for what in which part of our municipality, how long. There's a cost to every single decision we make, and even if it's not always obvious, there's that balance and that weighing. And as hard as it is, I think we do have to look after the greater good, and we do have a policy, and I do know we can change policies, but we also make the policies and have input into them when they are made. So I think that's part of the purpose of a policy, is to make sure that we are thinking in a way that we thought we should be thinking and put into writing and public and put out there for the public. So I don't have anything constructive to add to the comments that have been made. So I think at this point, we do have a motion before us. And that is that the report CPS 59/2024 development charge exemption request be received, and that the request made by Providence Reformed Collegiate to amend the development charge bylaw 2024's number 64 to exempt private independent schools be denied. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Shipley and Councillor Arts. All in favor of the motion? And opposed? That is carried. Again, I thank you for your time and the way in which you presented everything, and the thoroughness, courtesy, follow-ups. It has been nice so far, and we do look forward to seeing your building permits coming through. I'm sure you will make it go. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, council, for everything. Thank you for bearing your hurts. We understand. And we've said before already that this whole process, real positive that has come out of this is a better relationship with the municipality. And we said, why did it take us this to help establish that relationship? Why haven't we done that sooner? So we're very thankful that that has come out of this process. And I imagine probably you'll see more classes coming back to observe council meetings in future years. And again, thank you for everything.
I'll just add, that's a good thing. We've been talking about elections and who votes and who doesn't, and how do we get that better at the annual board across the province, trying to get people involved. So that's a big check in the box. Thank you. Okay, moving on now. There are no notices of motion, and there are correspondence items. Before we receive those, is there anything anyone wants to ask about, speak to, or comment on? No Conservation Authority, no? Okay. In that case, the motion before us is that council for the municipality of Middlesex Centre receives the correspondence items numbers 10.1 through 0.3 for information. Councillor Cates and Councillor Ship. Oh, sorry. Do you have a question? Sorry, I don't mean to, cut you off. Go ahead.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, is one of these a motion that we
One of them, 10.1 is a motion with respect to the World Animal Protection Resolution. And that is, did you want,
I'll make that motion.
do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Burrs? Does anyone want to speak to that before we call the vote? No? Oh, Councillor Arts, go ahead.
When I read correspondence, I'm going, who are these people? So I Googled them. They've got a lot of animal causes, and one of them is factory farming. They're not very beneficial to agriculture, I don't think. So I can't support an organization that's detrimental to agriculture. And I also looked on their 2023 budget for the year-end statement, and they had, I think it was revenue of 5.3, and they spent 2.2 on wages. And for a not-for-profit to spend over 41% of their budget on wages, I don't think that's acceptable. So I'll be voting against this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, in that case, there is a motion before us. And moved and seconded? Yep. So we can go ahead. All right. I'll call the vote. All in favor of the protection of the non-native exotic animal? Yeah, that's. Yes, I'm calling the vote. All in favor? Opposed? 1, 2, go ahead. Opposed? And that it fails. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And we can move on now. Oh, we have to do the other motions. Yeah, so we have to receive items 10.2 and 10.3 as information. Moved by Councillor Shipley and Councillor Arts is seconding. Thank you. Call a vote on those two items to receive. Thank you. All in favor? And you're not opposed, right? No. Okay, that's carried. Okay, now I will look to the deputy mayor. Any updates for us? Thank you.
Yeah, we had a county council meeting on November 26th. North Middlesex, we applied for the county loan program in 2.5 million for the fire hall and road North Cove. And that'll be coming back to county council at the next meeting. We received a report from KPMG, the hourlies for 2023. Reports on modernization, the new Freedom of Information, the Protection and Privacy Act. There's a 10-year calculated 4-year drive rating for 391,000. We received the 2023 consolidated financial statements. There's some monies that were put in trust for Strathmere Lodge. That money comes from residents that are donating to Strathmere Lodge, and the library board also has a trust fund for money they've donated to the library for library boards. The MLPS financial statements were received, the library financial statements were received. There was a surplus of 1.749 million from the county for 2023. That was put into the tax stabilization fund. in the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund for 2025 was 225,000 for the county, and that was down from 226,000 in 2024. Thank you.
Does anyone want to ask any questions on that? No? Okay, in that case, thank you for the update, Deputy. We have one item under other business today, and I'll turn to Councillor Cates to speak to that.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. So I had given a notice of motion, that, staff be directed to undertake a review of the current parking regulations for the various residential uses within the Middlesex Center zoning bylaw, including visitor parking, regulations for multifamily, and provide a report to council. So one of the things that, it's kind of getting to be a little bit of I don't know, an annoyance, a pet peeve of mine. When we see all the multi-dwelling things come forward, let me first start by saying we are a rural community. People travel to go to work. The odds are really, really good that there's going to be two cars in your family, and some of these multi-unit dwellings are getting smaller and smaller backyards. Maybe they're all joined together. How do you get your stuff and your lawnmower and your kids' toys and bikes and stuff through to the backyard, back and forth, back and forth? So basically, the garage that's counting as one of the parking spots becomes a shed. So now you have two cars, but you only have one parking spot in front of your house. And as you drive through some of these newer developments, you really see, especially if you go there after work hours, you see cars are everywhere. They're in the wrong direction and they're squeezed in. I pulled into one the other day and was going to pull in to turn around to get out, and I thought that the corner of the porch was going to rip the front corner of my car off. It's that tight. So I would like this to be looked at. Like, to me, every single dwelling should have two parking spots. And then we add to this, and we have almost no visitor parking. One drawing that we saw recently, there was two spots for 10 units. So even if they try to squeeze in their second car somewhere, where they're going to end up along the roadway, the curbs, then you've got, your fire and safety vehicles, etc. It just becomes a mess. So I am hoping that staff will take a good look at the current zoning and our new zoning, which it's about the same. In the new zoning that's not yet in effect, the visitor parking is a 0.15 spaces per unit. We have a lot of apartment buildings that have come in front of us recently, and so what does that mean for visitor parking spaces for these apartment buildings? So I think I said we're largely car dependent area. I think I've said it all.
Thank you, Councillor Cates. So we have a direction for staff, and they'll bring back a report, then we can have our fulsome discussion on all the details. We do have a motion before us. The staff be directed to undertake a review of the current parking regulations for the various residential uses within Middlesex Centre zoning bylaw, including visitor parking regulations for multifamily developments, and provide a report to council. Moved by Councillor Cates and seconded by Councillor Shipley. Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. So we'll look forward for that report. Okay, the last thing on our agenda today, bylaws. The motion before us is that bylaws 2024 number 100 through bylaw 2024-106 be adopted as printed. Mover, please, Councillor Cates, Councillor Paris. Thank you. All in favor of that? And that is carried. And now, we have a motion to adjourn. That Council for the Municipality of Middlesex Centre adjourns the December 4th, 2024 council meeting at 10:11 a.m. Councillor Burrs and Deputy Mayor Brett. All in favor? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you.